All right, all praise. Right, so that's what verse 6 is talking about. Romans 9 and 6. Verse 7. Neither because they are all the seed, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children. So the Most High made a promise to Abraham that he was going to bless his seed, right? That's why he's saying this. Paul is he's breaking something down for the Israelites that are in Rome, right? That's who he's writing to, right? And we'll prove that in a second, right? But he's telling them, he said, just because they came from Abraham alone, because Abraham had, I think, 8 sons, right? Ishmael was one of his sons. Ishmael is the progenitor of the so-called Arabs today, right? So he's saying, just because you come from Abraham, that's not enough, right? He said, neither because they are neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Right? Let's prove it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 21 and verse 12. So he said the seed has to come through Isaac. Isaac, that was one of his sons, Abraham's son, right? Genesis 21 and verse 12. It says, and God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad. Why? Because he had to send Ishmael and Hagar away, right? He sent them away. Even though Ishmael was his son, he had to send them away because it was part of God's will. That's why he's telling them, don't be sad because of the lad, because of Ishmael. I know that's your son, but don't be sad because of him, right? Verse 12 again. Neither, and God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman. All that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Right? So that's where Paul got that from. He's giving you like a quick synopsis of the whole Bible in Romans 9. So back to Romans 9. Right? He said that the seed would come through Isaac, right? Verse 8. That is, they which are the children of the flesh. These are not the children of God, right? So the children of the flesh would be considered the children of Haggai, those children that Abraham had through fleshly consorting, right? All of Abraham's children were made of flesh, skin, and bone, but he's talking about he had them children because of fleshly reasons, right? That's what that means. Verse 8, that is, that they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. So he told us the children now of the promise. The promise was that the seed was going to come through Isaac. Those are the children of God. This Bible is cold-blooded. It's cold-blooded. It's cold-blooded, man. And that's why I said, brother, I understand that you probably having some a little bit of a hard time grasping and coming to grips with what we teaching you. But this Bible say what it say. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, and verse 15. This Bible cold-blooded, man, but I love it because it's like math, right? I always like math because the thing about math is, in order for math to work, it has to all your all everything has to add up. You can't have any step in math in a math problem that's wrong and your math problem come out correct. It just won't work. It has to all add up and fit together perfectly. And it's the same way with this Bible, right? Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 15. Uh, it says, behold, the nations, it's cold blooded. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he take it. So the Most High I mean, he's saying that the nations, all the nations outside of the nation of Israel, he said to him that's like a drop of a bucket, and are counted as small dust on the balance, meaning they don't make a difference to him. If you put some dust on a scale, the scale won't even move. The numbers won't even move. That's what he said that other nations other than Israel are like to him. He said, behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. Right? He said, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. Verse 17, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him as less than nothing and vanity. So the Most High don't give a damn about these other nations, man, outside of the nation of Israel. He said Lebanon is a nation of people. That's a whole group of people that he said are nothing. You gotta understand it. That's why I'm like, man, the God, most people don't want to serve the God. That's why you'll talk to a lot of people and they'll say, why does God in the Old Testament sound so much different than God in the New Testament? He's the same. God didn't change. It's just that they created a doctrine around the idea of God that they want to have called Christianity. That's all that happened. God don't change. Let's prove it. Let's go to Malachi. The book of Malachi, chapter 3 and verse 6. Malachi chapter 3 and verse 6. He says, I am the Lord, I change not. That means he don't change. If he say, I love Jacob and I hate Esau, that's what he mean. If he say, Israel is my chosen and they above all people, that's what he mean. He said, for I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. That's the reason why he's still choosing the nation of Israel, because he made a promise that he would. That's just what the Bible says, man. So let's go back to Romans 9. Let's read verse 8 again. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God. The other nations, the Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese, the so-called white man, the Africans, not the Israelites that's scattered in Africa, but the real Africans. Those people come from Ham, Nilotes, right? Pure blood Africans. Those people come from Ham. They don't come from Shem. Those aren't God's people. And like I say, it's cold-blooded, but that's what the Bible say. We're going to prove it. We're going to continue to prove it. He said, those are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. Right? Verse 9, for this is the word of the promise. At this time I will come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, right? So the promise went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. And Jacob is the Israelites. He's the father of the Israelites. Verse 11, for the children being, this is what you got to understand. This is a key verse. He said the promise came, verse 10, and not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. So when Isaac had children by Rebekah, for the children being not yet born, having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. So what he's telling you is that when Jacob and Esau was in Rebekah's womb, it was already decided that Jacob was the child that was gonna be the chosen child. And it was before any of them had done any good or evil. It's because God can do it the hell he wanna do. He's God. He don't have to choose the whole nation, the whole world, and save them if he don't want to save them. And you gotta decide. The God of the Bible might not be the God that you want to serve. Because the God of the Bible is the God of the Israelites, man. He's the God of one nation of people. And it has nothing to do with skin color. It has nothing to do. You got East Indian people that are dark skinned, right? And you they aren't the children of God. You got Hispanics that are fair skinned. If you didn't know any better, you'd think they were so-called white people. But they are the children of God. It has nothing to do with skin color. It has to do with the nation that God chose. It's according to election. That the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her. This you can read about this, what we reading now in Romans 9, 11, and 12, and Genesis 25, starting at 25, 20, 21 on down. When Rebekah was pregnant with Esau and Jacob, it said, that's what he's quoting here, right? Verse 12. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. The elder in that situation is Esau, the so-called white man. They were uh, paternal twins, right? They were not identical twins. I might be saying it wrong. Paternal twins, right? They were not identical, but they were born. They were both conceived in the womb at the same time. Jacob and Esau, right? The so-called white man. He's not a white man. He's red. Right? He's not white. Nobody on the planet is white. They came up with those terms to make themselves seem pure and innocent and without evil, and to make us seem wicked and evil and void of light and all these crazy things. That's why they came up with black and white and all these crazy names for us, right? So it has nothing to do with skin color. Right? It is nothing to do with that. It's just about the nation of people. Verse 13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Right? So God hates Esau. Right? Not only Esau, but the people that come from Esau. It says, as it is written. That means it's written somewhere else. Let's go to the book of Malachi. It said, as it is written. When they say as it is written, that means it's written somewhere else too. The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. He loves Israel. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Esau. Salakia, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons, of the wilderness. Esau has no heritage. He does not have any heritage or inheritance with the Lord. He doesn't have any. So you have some people that say, well, he just hated Esau, or he doesn't hate anybody. God just said he hate him. Not only him, let's keep reading. Verse 4. Whereas Edom are the people of Esau, right? Whereas Edom saith, that's how you know it's the people, we are impoverished, but we shall return and build the desolate places. When did they return and build the desolate places? During the Renaissance era. The Renaissance means rebirth. That's when this happened. When they returned and rebuilt the desolate places. That's when they started moving into England and Europe and Britain, and Scotland. all these places where you see Europeans at now. That's when they moved there during the Renaissance era. Before they was there during the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, black people was in that land. Right? It says whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we shall return and rebuild the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness. God called them the border of wickedness. He called them that. And it say, and the people, God hates all of them, not just Esau. Every Edomite, God say he hates them. And the people whom the Lord hath indignation is hatred, forever. He hate them forever. The Lord said that. They not gonna read that scripture at church, especially not on Easter Sunday. They ain't gonna read that one. Promise you. They ain't gonna read that. Let's go back to Romans. This Bible cold-blooded, man. That's why I tell people, I'm like, man, you sure you want to know this Bible? You sure you want to understand what's in here? Because it's cold-blooded, man. It's not your grandma's doctrine. It's not your grandmama's doctrine, man. Right? So it says, back to Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, we just read where it was written, chapter 1, verse 1 through 4. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? Is God wrong for saying, I hate those people, the so-called white man? Is he wrong for that? God forbid. God can do what he want to do. He's God. It's like I play 2K, the basketball game. And I love to create players and get me my league and the season going. Kind of have my own little universe in basketball going on, right? I'll create all types of players. I'll make players that can jump high, can do some of everything, but they can't play no defense. I'll make a guy who can play defense better than everybody, but he can't shoot a lick. And then I'll make me a little special team that I like. I might choose the Bulls because that's my favorite team. I might pick the Bulls and put like the best players on the Bulls and make sure that we can win the championship. Why? Because it's my game. I can do what I want to do because it's my video game. It's the same way with God. He can do what he want to do with the people that he created. That's why Paul said that in verse 14. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Who is God going to have mercy on? Let's see. Let's go to Isaiah. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14. This is a future prophecy, right? It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. That's who he gonna have mercy on, right? It just said it. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, not the whole world, not the Edomites, not the Ammonites, not the Canaanites, not the Jebusites, not the Perizzites, not the Egyptians. He ain't having mercy on them. He having mercy on Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers is the other nations, right, shall be joined with them. They're going to be joined with us. Let's see what they're going to be doing. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Right? So the Bible said the other nation, you're going to have, when the kingdom of heaven is set up, we just read it. When the kingdom of heaven is set up, you're going to have other nations on the planet. You're going to have Egyptians on the planet. You're going to have Moabites on the planet. You're going to have Ammonites on the planet. You're going to have the so-called white man on the planet, the Edomites, for a little while. For a little while. Right? They're going to be there, but the Bible say that they're going to be servants and handmaids. It say, and they shall rule over them, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So the so-called white man took us as captives. The Bible say he gotta be a captive. We ain't take nobody captive. All the nations took us captive. The Chinese took us captive. That's how they get the Great Wall of China. We built that. The Arabs took us captives in the sub-Saharan slave trade. The so-called white man took us captive in the transatlantic slave trade. The so-called Jewish man is the one who paid for the slave ships. Those aren't the real Jews. They stole your identity. So the Bible say that all those people got to go into slavery because they put us in slavery. They put God's people in slavery. The Bible, it say, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is the Bible we read. They're not going to read this to you in church, Jack. Right? The same way we had to suffer for the sins, because you got to understand, we didn't see the Red Sea get parted. We didn't get to see that miracle. Our forefathers got to see it, though. And they sinned against God despite of that. So God, because they sinned against God, he put them in slavery. And we today suffer the repercussions of them going into slavery. That's the reason why we in America today. That's the reason why we get treated like shit in this country. That's the reason why they can oppress you and get away with it. Right? The other day, 2 state representatives in Tennessee, they just got kicked out the state house. 2 black guys, so-called black guys. Right? One of them looked like he's so-called Native American, but they dark-skinned brothers. If one of them went so-called Native Indian, you know, he probably just Judah, so-called African American. But they just fired them boys, kicked their ass out the state house, and told them that they was throwing a temper tantrum. And the white lady that was saying the same thing that they was saying got to keep her job. And then when they interviewed her, she said she know it was because she white that she kept her job. You see what I'm saying? We go through these things because our forefathers disobeyed God. Let's get a precept. Let's go to the book of Lamentations. Lamentations. Chapter 5 and verse 7. It says, our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. That's what you got going on today. Our forefathers sinned against God, and we, because they sinned, we bear their iniquity. We bear their sin, the repercussions of their sin. That's why you call yourself an African American. So that's the way God works. If he did that to us, he gonna do the same thing to them. You might say, well, my friend Johnny, he's white and he's a good white person. He doesn't treat me bad. His ancestors put us in slavery. He didn't do it. Why does he gotta go into slavery? If he didn't do it, he wasn't the one. Let's see what the Bible say. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14 and let's read verse 21. It says, prepare slaughter. Slaughter is killing and a bunch of death. It say prepare slaughter for his children. Now, I'm not telling you to go kill nobody. We're not going to go kill nobody. And we put that on the record. The Most High is going to kill them. That's what we read about in Revelation chapter 19. He going to send Jesus to kill them. Right? It's a prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So the Most High, he gonna kill them because because of the sins of their father. Let's get another witness. Let's go to Revelation. I was reading this earlier. Now it's time to read it. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's Bible. If you take a nation and put them into slavery, you got to go into captivity. Let's get another precept. We coming back to Revelation chapter 13. Let's go to Exodus. Exodus chapter 4. Is 4 what I want? Hold on. Exodus chapter... Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16. It say, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. That's the Bible. It's saying the same thing in Revelation chapter 13 verse 9. If you steal a man, and when God come back and he find that man in your hand, it say that you got to die for that. That's what they doing to us over here right now. They stole us from our land, and then we still here. They won't let us go. They gotta die for that. Thus saith the Lord. So if God is, go back to Revelation 13 verse 9, it say, if any man have an ear, let him hear. If you got ears, listen. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. That's the same thing that Isaiah chapter 14 is saying. If you take a people and you put them into captivity, slavery, then you and your people got to go into slavery. That's the Bible, right? He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And we the saints. The Israelites are the saints, right? Let's prove it. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 5. We the saints. The Israelites are the saints, right? The book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. The Israelites are the only ones that have made a covenant with the Most High God through sacrificing animals. We the only ones. So we the saints. Let's go back to Revelation 14. It say, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So we the saints, the Israelites, that's what we being patient for. That's what we waiting for. The Most High to come back and avenge us, to bring slaughter to his enemies, to put in slavery all the people that put us in slavery. That's just because God say that he hate a false balance. So it wouldn't be right for them to put us in slavery and to kill all our babies, to feed your damn son to an alligator, use it for gator bait, and then the same man, George Washington, who had 400 slaves, get to raise up from the damn dead and be in the kingdom of heaven. Because he said he believed in Jesus. Damn, Thomas Jefferson had 600 slaves. He was a Christian. It ain't right for the Most High to resurrect Thomas Jefferson and then he wake up in the kingdom of heaven alongside all these slaves that he put to death, all these women and their children that he done damn raped. You know he was on there raping 12 and 13-year-old little black girls. It ain't fair for him to get the kingdom of heaven. God wouldn't be a just God if he did that. And see, that's the plight of the so-called black man. You want to save everybody. You ain't, when you thinking about God so loved the world, you ain't thinking about the damn Chinese man and the damn Polynesian man. You think about the so-called white man. That's who you want to save. That's who the world is in your eyes. That's why the young sister that was with you, she didn't even believe us when we was trying to tell her that Jesus was a black man. Because when you see that so-called white man, you subconsciously see God. because you've been taught and showed your whole life, the 19 years that you done been on this earth, that Jesus was a so-called white man, when the Bible do not say that. You got to understand something, brother. This Bible is your heritage, and you trying to give it away to the whole world. It's not for them. It's for you. It's for you. And God is going to destroy all these nations that put you and your forefathers and your foremothers in slavery and in captivity and bondage. They the reason why you getting oppressed. So the Most High gotta judge them, or he wouldn't be a just God. You understand? So I pray that this has been edifying. I pray that it's been a help for you to understand that the Most High only loves and is dealing with the nation of Israel, right? When he said that God so loved the world, he's talking about the world of Israel, right? And you got a lot on this lesson tonight, right? And I didn't even give you all of it. You understand? Any other question that you got, please pose it, man. I want you to have all the answers to your questions with the Bible, right? I'm not going to ever just give you my words and what I think about it. I'm going to always take you to the Bible and show you what the Bible has to say, right? This is a free of charge lesson. We do not charge to teach the word of God. Man, I pray that you have a blessed and peaceful rest of the evening, right? Whenever you wake up and you get to hear these messages, please text back with some questions, because I know you're going to have some questions, right? Even take it to your pastor and let him hear it, and let him ask some questions, and we'll get the answers for him. If you like, I'll even be willing to sit down with the pastor, and we can explain and have a conversation, right? I'm down for whatever. One thing we won't do is run from these scriptures, right? So have a blessed evening, man. Come back with some questions, and I'll be ready to answer them. All right? Shalom, King.